This meeting is being recorded.
Okay. Hi, welcome everyone. My name is Aaron Smith. I'm the CEO of EBA, and I'm joined, as always, by Nancy Bakeman. And we're really pleased today to be focusing on women in construction. I'm joined by Kicinski from Lifestyle Homes out of Florida, Danielle Younger with Younger Homes down in Texas, and then Glenna Wilson will be joining us. And Glenna is with Charis Homes out of Ohio. So we're going to have each of the builders go through kind of their portfolio. They'll introduce themselves, their companies. They'll talk about what influenced them to enter the construction industry, how they maybe found their focus on sustainability, maybe some of the impactful products or designs or styles that they're using in their houses. So it'll be a really great chance to get to know them. But then we'll have the ability for you to ask them questions. So we have the Q&A open. Feel free to enter your questions there, and I'll ask those to our panel as we go through. So I think first, Karen, we'll kick it off with you, if that's okay.
Sure.
Great.
All right. So hi, everybody. I am Karen Kicinski. I am the co-owner and marketing director of Lifestyle Home Builders. All right, next slide.
You can
Sorry.
click. You can click.
I know.
Right arrow as well.
It's not. There we go.
Great.
Sorry about that.
So just for a quick snapshot of Lifestyle. So we are a family-owned home builder on Florida's East Coast. We are down here on the Space Coast area and also build in the Vero Beach market. We have been in business for 39 years. For most of our history, we were a production home builder, but a lot of the kind of national home builders have moved into our market. So now we more focus on semi-custom and custom homes. We also are a high performance home builder. Back in 2009, we launched our Lifestyle SunSmart program, which is our energy saving program. And in 2019, we followed that with our Clean Indoor Air Health Smart program. We're also one of our area's leading solar home builders. Lifestyle built the first zero energy home on Florida's East Coast back in 2010. And to date, we've built about 200 more solar homes. So go to the next slide. So I was going to talk a little bit about me and how I got into the construction industry. So like I mentioned, Lifestyle is a family-owned company. My father started the company back in 1984. And to be honest, before I joined the company about 10 years ago, I didn't have much of an interest in the construction industry. My background is in magazine publishing and marketing. And at the time, I was working for a local marketing company, but I didn't see too much growth there. So I was kind of looking for an opportunity for a change. And at the same time, Lifestyle was kind of going through some management changes. So my father had asked me to come on board. My first inclination was to just kind of politely decline because I felt like I had really no business running a construction company. But I had taken a look at the marketing that Lifestyle was doing back then. And it was really apparent that nobody was really in the driver's seat for that aspect of the company. And through private conversations with my father, I also knew that Lifestyle was kind of evolving into this, solar home builder and getting into this world of high performance home building. So I decided to come on board because I knew I could be an asset in that aspect of the company. And I also knew it was just a great opportunity to get to market something that was new and exciting at the time. So because I was starting fresh, I really had to start from the ground up, learning the construction industry, which anybody can attest is very challenging and very complicated. And then I had that added level of high performance home building. And I was also coming into a company that was really well established. And so there was the culture and the dynamics of the company as well to try to learn. And So yeah, it took a lot of time to get my footing. But, I really wouldn't change a thing. And really one of the, the best parts of my job is getting to market high performance homes, because it gives us an edge. It gives us a hook. And I also really truly believe in it. I believe in what we're doing, what we're building, what we're selling, and that it's really kind of part of the solution for, a lot of the issues that our world is facing right now. So we can go to the next slide. So we were asked about, a technology that we've implemented, and I can't say that I've personally implemented any new sustainable technologies into lifestyle, but I am proud to be part of the team that launched our Health Smart program. And this was a clean indoor air program. And we had spent a lot of time kind of kicking around this idea of building a healthy home and focusing on this aspect. But we never really got it off the ground. And it wasn't until back in 2019 when we would meet with our EBA Builder Benchmark group, and that was a hot topic and everybody was kind of saying what they were doing, that we really kind of got our butts in gear and got our program off the ground. And, we sat down and we went through all the aspects of our home and came up with a package of just pollutant reducing features that we feel just offers our customers a better home. So that's about it. Next slide. So anyways, just thank you so much to Nancy and to Aaron for this opportunity to telling a little bit about Lifestyle Homes. And I've included our website right there as well, if anybody has any interest in learning more about our company.
Great. Thank you so much, Karen. Just beautiful, beautiful product. I'm excited to talk to you more about some of the technologies that I spotted in some of those pictures there. But before we get there, I'd love to turn it over to Danielle Younger with Younger Homes down in Texas. Danielle, welcome.
Hey, Aaron. Thanks for having me. I'm Danielle Younger. My husband, Jesse, and I founded Younger Homes in 2017 with a mission to build beautiful, sustainable, and energy efficient homes that are accessible to everyone. All of our homes are, you can stay on that first slide, it's okay. All of our homes right now are Energy Star certified, EPA Indoor Air Plus certified, and our newest product to market, our Zero Energy Ready homes, are Zero Energy Ready certified. My education and background is really what brought me into this industry. So I graduated from Texas A&M University, where I got my bachelor's degree in bioenvironmental science, and then continued on after learning how people impacted the environment through that degree to get my Master of Public Health, where I focused on the environment and how the environment affects people. Prior to Younger Homes, so right out of college, I worked for oil and gas industry, BP, for about 9 years. At BP, I was able to work in the health and safety and risk management field. I focused on offshore drilling, actually post Macondo, so post the BP oil spill, where I helped deliver safe operations offshore. After coming into my role at Younger Homes and actually meeting the folks at EBA, they have just been the biggest blessing to our company. We joined the Builder Benchmark group back in, I think 2019, 2020. Since then, I am currently on the board of directors for EBA, and we're also a part of the Builder Benchmark group, as I mentioned. I'll speak a little bit to Jesse too. Jesse is the founding member of a building science group in Austin, Texas. So if any of our members are in the Austin area, or any of our viewers are in the Austin area, we have a group. I dislike the name, but it's called BS and Beer. It's for Building Science and Beer. We meet at a brewery once a month, every month, and it's just a community of like-minded builders in Austin who share and promote building science practices. Through our company and getting to utilize our talents and treasures at Younger Homes, we also, last year, something I'm super proud of, is we were the founders of something called the Big Event, sponsored by the North Lake Hope Center. And in our community, it's the largest home improvement give back event. And this past year, we brought together hundreds of volunteers and helped repair homes free of charge in our area. So that was really fun to come alongside other builders and trade partners in our area to do that. So you can go to the next slide. So these are a few of our homes. When we started Younger Homes in 2017, we started building custom homes. So all these homes you see are homes of ours. I think all of them are actually on Lake Travis in this slide. But we started here because custom homes were a way for us to jump in immediately to the home building industry. I've always had a passion for sustainability and preserving the environment. And I understand the importance of protecting public health by informing individuals about their choices. What drove me personally to enter the construction industry was learning that together, Jesse and I, who's a mechanical engineer and grew up in the construction industry since he was a kid, could build these homes and could build homes that were certified to the highest level of certification by our United States government. It's just such an honor to be able to build homes that directly impact people's lives. I mean, this is where their kids live, where they interact daily, and we just can increase our sphere of influence in our community by building homes to that level or that standard. And if you go to the next slide, these are Younger Homes' newest product offering, which I'm most proud of, and I feel like we've had the most impact in the sustainable building industry. In 2022, we launched a series of Zero Energy Ready certified homes. And so these 4 homes on the left are they have the highest level of certification, Zero Energy Ready certification with Energy Star and EPA Indoor Air Plus. We love Zero Energy Ready certification because it gives tangible results and it benchmarks our homes against code built homes. We were able to design and develop these homes with our local architect here in Austin, and also with the partnership of Sam Rashkin and his Housing 2.0 series that he hosts with Green Builder Media. But we designed these to incorporate all of the top selling qualities of our custom homes that you saw on the previous slide, but with an increased level of energy efficiency, because we've designed and laid out the floor plan, and we've designed all the materials that are being spec'd to go inside of the homes to meet the Zero Energy Ready certification. And then on the right here, we have our sustainable development that is currently in progress. So we've basically taken, building individual homes one at a time for folks to a large scale development here in our community, which we're very, very excited about, and don't have enough time to talk about it now, but know that it's coming down the road. But I'm sure I went over 5 minutes. Have I, Aaron?
No, that was great. We can go as long as you would like.
Well, I was just going to mention that, if Zero Energy Ready Homes is the most impactful technology that we've incorporated, I just wanted to mention that I think the most unique technology that we've incorporated at Younger Homes is making all of our homes rainwater ready for rainwater harvesting.
Right.
It's so simple, and it's curious to me why more builders don't do this from the get-go. It's as simple as running downspouts into a common collection area and incorporating non-carcinogenic glues and adhesives to your gutters. And on the onset, folks don't have to spend that upfront capital on establishing like an actual rainwater collection system. But down the road, if they ever decide to incorporate rainwater collection for whatever reason, we live in Central Texas, so water quality, drought, and rain are not abundant right now. Although I do hear we're going into an El Nino year for the next 3 years. But in the future, if people want to incorporate this sustainable technology, because our homes are all rainwater ready, they have the capability to do so pretty simply, which is pretty cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Great. Well, Danielle, thank you so very much. I'd love to turn it over to Glenna Wilson with Charis Homes. Glenna, how are you?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Great, thanks.
Great. Well, I'm Glenna Wilson with Charis Homes. I founded Charis Homes in 2003. And I personally got into the building industry because I had a friend who was disabled and needed housing. And I went out to, try to find that housing in our area. And unfortunately, there was not much accessible homes for people with disabilities in that area. So I jumped into the industry, no background at all, learned it from the ground up. My background was marketing and sales, and I worked for another builder, and we sold so many houses in the first 9 months that he had me go out and start running the jobs. And I literally didn't know what a footer or fascia, soffit, I didn't know any of it, but I jumped in and went to every training I could go to and learned it basically from the ground up. And then in 2003, I went out on my own and started my own company. And I started 2004 and 2005, basically looking to build Energy Star. So we started on that path with Energy Star, and we started right away utilizing insulated concrete forms. So that's the one product I love, because here in Ohio, we have a lot of basements, and there are more basement companies that repair basements than builders, I think, in the state of Ohio. But my son is a civil engineer in the concrete industry, and he introduced that product to me because he at that time lived in Pennsylvania and they had higher codes. So we've used that product exclusively since 2004. It's 11 times stronger than masonry block. It creates a very livable, I don't even want to call them basements, lower level. And they're moisture resistant, of course, and termite resistant and environmentally friendly. A lot of the ICFs are made with recycled products. So it really creates living space in that lower level. And then in 2014, I had a customer that worked for First Energy, moved from Pennsylvania to Ohio, and he was looking for an Energy Star builder. And he found me on the internet and reached out to me, and about 45 minutes of numerous questions, he finally said, "Oh my goodness, I finally found a builder that really does build Energy Star, not just light bulbs and appliances." And I laughed. So he was my first customer that I partnered together with him and all my subcontractors to create a certification in the Zero Energy Ready certification. Anyhow, through the Department of Energy. And we were the first builder in Ohio to receive that certification in 2015. And that house went on to earn a U.S. Housing Innovation Award at the EBA conference in 2016. And I didn't know what EBA was. And I just got on a plane, went to Dallas, Texas, went to the seminar, and I sat there the first day, and I went, wow, I am around my peeps. These are the people that think like I think, and I want to build innovative homes that build better homes. So that was I got to meet Gene Myers, Sam Rashkin, just a lot of great people. And we've been entering the contests ever since, and we have 6 Zero Energy Ready Housing Innovation Awards. And then you want to go to the next one. Okay, so nobody really touched on this about being a woman in the industry, and I was the first president of our local building association, and that was an experience, and I was happy for it. But I always tease everybody, I always say my stilettos are in concrete. And what I mean by that is I'm firm, fair, and friendly. And, 90% of the construction industry are men. But what intrigued me about building homes is the earning capacity for women in this industry. And I have the statistics here. It says women in the US earn an average of 81.1% of what men make. The gender pay gap is significantly smaller in construction occupations, with women earning an average of 99.1% of what men make. So that intrigued me. But I love the industry. I love creating a healthy home. We also certify every house to the Indoor Air Plus. And a lot of people have asthma. A lot of people don't realize what a healthy home looks like, or, that is probably the most challenging part, is basically, developing the user experience with a clear message of the why behind high performance homes. I could talk hours about the building science of a home, but you really have to learn to relate to the customer and speak the language that they understand. When I say HERS score, they don't know what a HERS score is. But I tell them it's kind of like when you buy a car, they tell you how many miles per gallon you're getting with your car. And I always tell them the lower the HERS score, the better the energy savings on the home. Okay, I want to go to the next one. I think I have one more. Yes, that's one of our homes. This is a Royal Magnolia, and that had a HERS score of 40. We have received the lowest HERS score that we received was a 31, and that was without any renewables. So that was pretty awesome. That was a full insulated concrete form home. Do you want? And there's the one more. Okay, there you go. And that just shows you a little bit of the inside of our homes. On the left-hand corner, you see the insulated concrete forms being placed on a footer. And basically, we do 7 courses because they're 16 inches high. And it's 2.5 inches of EPS foam on the outside, 2.5 inches of EPS foam on the outside. And then the inside is filled with 6 inches of concrete with rebar vertically and horizontally. One of the areas that we kind of switched, we were always a very custom home builder. And then in 2020, we actually opened a franchise for a 55 plus community called Epcon Communities, because I seen the industry, the homes going up and up in price. And a lot of people had followed us for a lot of years, and they were looking to right size. And this product really meets that need for that 55 plus. And the home up on the left-hand corner isn't, it's on a slab, but it is an insulated concrete form home. Yeah, it was the Pro Builder demo house in December of 2021. So we were really proud to build that house, and it was fun. It was fun to do. And do I have one more slide? Yep. So I always say in the industry, I didn't have any background in the construction industry. So I always tell myself my goal is to find myself in a room full of people who are smarter than me. So I don't have to be the sharpest crayon in the room, but that's what I feel I have found in EBA. The fellowship and we're just connected because we're all like-minded and innovators, and there's no competition among us. It's just a great organization to be part of, and Aaron and Nancy do a fantastic job. So I'm looking forward to the summit this fall in Salt Lake City. And I think that's all I had to talk about. So I thank you again. Thank you for the opportunity. I always again say that building a home is the biggest investment of a lifetime that families make, and we spend about 80% of our time in our homes, so they should be comfortable and healthy. That's it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for that, Glenna. And again, just It's always great to, we get to talk so much, but it's always so great to get to see the products that you are all working on, and they're absolutely beautiful. So a couple, we'll keep it open for questions. You can put questions in the Q&A, but let's go through some kind of roundtable discussion. We'll just open it up. And, Nancy, I'm happy to have you talk about it as well, because I think you bring a great perspective. You've been at EBA and in this industry for, I think, 18 years now, right? So
Just about.
What's that? Just about?
I said just about, yeah, 18.
Yeah. So what are the most challenging and rewarding aspects of day-to-day operations in this industry? And maybe are there any that you see that are more challenging, or you bring a different skill set because you're women in the construction industry?
I'll go first.
Go ahead, Karen.
I was thinking about this question. For me, probably the biggest challenge on a day-to-day basis, I believe, is managing customer expectations. Home building is a long process, and you're with your customer for a long time, and then the warranty on top of that. And I think, we just live in a time where everybody's expecting instant gratification, and home building is not that. It's a long relationship that you have with your customer. And I think COVID has, magnified this even more with our supply chain issues and things. So I would say that in normal times, that's a challenge, is managing people's expectations. In COVID, it's, on steroids. And, I think maybe something that women bring a little bit better is maybe we're a little bit better communicators. I feel like leveling with customers and over communicating, even if the news is, I have no news, nothing, your product isn't in yet, or whatever it is, just making customers know that you're thinking about them and that they're not left out there to dry. You haven't forgot, like you are on top of it, but things are just taking a little bit longer. I think that that's probably the biggest challenge that we face on a day-to-day basis, is the customer expectations.
Great. How about Glenna?
Well, for me, I would say, since I'm in Ohio and they're on the 2009 IECC code, my biggest challenge is, as we have grown, we've had to add more trade partners, and just educating the trade partners the way that we do things, how we, the other day I had an issue with just some tape coming off, around the window flash. It was coming off, and I had a guy say, well, I can just staple it down. I'm like, no, we don't just staple it down. And here I found out my lumber company sent out the wrong tape. And so I had the zip it tape sent out real quick, and they used that, and they're like, oh, that works much better. But just staying in constant communication with the subs, that we don't build a minimum code house. It's our house is we are now building to the 2021 IECC code, and it's just educating everybody and staying on top of it. And as you get new project managers, educating them and finding people that buy into your vision for your company. And I think that's one of the things that we're really working hard this year, is having a clear message of our vision and what's our core values. And everybody in the whole company is coming to training on all those aspects right now. And we're going through, I'm having everybody retrain with Sam Rashkin on the Housing 2.0. It's a big investment of time and revenue, but I think it's important so everybody's on the same page. So this is trades, and just staying to that high standard of excellence. And last weekend we had a circuit of homes, and I don't normally work the circuit homes, but that day I was there, and a gentleman came in and he said, I've followed you for years. And then another couple came in, and he starts telling this other couple about my company and saying, oh, Charis builds the best houses, and they're energy efficient. And he, I'm like, do you want a job? But, it's good to have that reputation, that, my dad always told me you never have to apologize for quality. And the zero energy ready builders are 1% of the country, and we build the best houses in the nation. So.
Absolutely. Danielle?
Like, can I get an amen? Oh, Glenna, yeah, and Karen, absolutely managing customer expectations. I couldn't agree more. And Glenna, my thoughts were exactly around what you brought to light. And I just called it human capital. Human capital, because as business owners, we rely so much on our employees, and we partner with trades to not only deliver high quality homes, but also create a high quality working environment for our people and our trades. I feel like the economy, as you both mentioned, has shifted so much, and our micro environment in particular changes, it seems like, so frequently lately. It's challenging to be the guardians of our cultural values, right? And as a business owner and as a woman, I feel like we're really good at establishing those values, but the challenge is maintaining them. So at Younger Homes, we actually have our values like written on our walls, so everybody can see we're humble, we're set apart, we're servants, we're creative, and we put God and family first. Yeah, and thankfully we have employees that uphold those values. But even so, talent management and acquisition are just very difficult. So if you know anybody that wants to work for Younger Homes, shameless plug.
Lago Vista, right?
Lago Vista,
Texas. I'm hiring. I think you're all probably hiring right now. That's an interesting part. Are you able to find, are there subcontractors in the industry that are women? Are you able to, or do you try to bring on women into these new roles to get that maybe perhaps more balanced perspective in the industry? What's been your thoughts as you build your teams out or build your subcontractor teams? Or, Danielle, I think you're so good at that culture piece, and I know more of your story than some of our others, but what do you find? Do you get the applicants into the industry?
Honestly, if I'm looking at just the women on our team, they've been the most loyal. They've been with us the longest, which is amazing. And two, they're the people that we trained into their roles. So when I look at our marketing assistant, when I look at our project coordinator, when I look at our other project coordinator, none of those women had construction experience, but I feel like gave them the environment to thrive in, to learn to be themselves, to be vulnerable, to ask questions, to be humble and ask the dumb questions. And I think that just set them off on a real solid foundation. So just having faith that even if someone like me, like Glenna, like Karen, we didn't have industry knowledge, but we learned because we were vulnerable. And having that faith in the employees that you hire, and then also having a good training program behind you is also really helpful.
It's great advice. Karen?
Yeah, I agree. We, on our team, on our production team and our sales team, we have quite a number of women on our team. And, some that have started in one position and grown to other positions. I will say, on our field construction team, it is all men still. But we do have, women subcontract, our electrician. That's a woman-owned company, and she's fantastic. Our garage door company, that's a woman-owned company. So we do have a few women who own our main subcontractor companies, and a lot of women on our sales team and production teams as well. So.
Fantastic. And back to you, Glenna.
Well, I mean, again, I agree with Karen and Danielle is your team is, you're only as good as your trade partners and your team members. And again, we started last fall just redoing all our systems. And every time there's a failure, I always go back to it. It's a system that either needs tweaked or written or someone didn't follow it. And so we're really system oriented lately, even with our contractors. And, again, every year I do a contractor's breakfast. I invite all my contractors to a good Amish restaurant and we feed them breakfast. And then we do kind of like a state of the union of Charis Homes, like what we, a lot of the contractors never see the finished house because they're at a different stage. So I do show photos of our houses and then kind of show them what we have in the future. And then we have a stringent 3-page subcontract agreement. And I've had contractors ask other contractors, does she really expect us to sign this and follow it? And they're like, oh yeah, you better believe it. And again, I'm firm, fair, and friendly because my name is on every home. And finding those good trades. And I never look for the cheapest trade. I look at, I always tell people the real proof in the pudding of a trade contractor is when something happens, how they react. And when I love it when they call me and go, hey, this happened, I just want to talk to you about it. And we talk through it. Those are my keepers, and so we quarterly grade all our contractors. And then we have a quarterly Zoom meeting and talk about issues. We don't point anybody out. And then we do another little program that is called the Good Deeds program. And once a month, we pick a contractor that has gone above and beyond, and we buy them lunch and give them a $50 gift card to Cabela's normally. And it could be simple. Like one of my homeowners, their dog got loose and 2 of the concrete guys dropped what they were doing and ran and got their dogs. So they didn't go in the street, and just simple like that. And then we do our contractor of the year. We give them a plaque and a $250 gift card to Cabela's. So, I want them to know that we're a team, and I think cultivating that team atmosphere and is really kind of different than how construction has been running in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and early 200s, and I do meet once a month or once a year with every one of my contractors. The first quarter of the year, every Wednesday, they come to the office. I buy them lunch and I talk to them and say, hey, what can we do to improve? And what are we doing right? What can we do better? And we talk and collaborate and really foster those relationships. So
Fantastic and good advice for everyone, right?
yes.
Let's talk about innovation, because I think as I looked at some of your pictures, Karen, I noted the Certainty solar shingle on yours, but what areas in the industry do you believe need innovation? It could be on the technology side, could be on the process side, could be on the culture side. What are your thoughts around that? Maybe Karen, we'll start with you.
Yeah, one area, so down here in Florida, we use a lot of concrete. We're concrete block construction. We, build a lot of houses on stem walls for flooding. And, as we're moving toward a, carbon neutrality and, that's kind of the direction things are headed now. I'm really interested to see what innovation. I know there's startups, I know CEMEX and some companies are working on different things, but what innovation can be done in the way of carbon neutrality and concrete, because we use a lot of concrete, and when we're talking about carbon neutrality, that's not great. So yeah, I think as far as innovation, that's an area that we really need to take a hard look at. Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
people always ask me, is concrete going away? I'm like, boy, I sure don't think so, but it needs to get better.
Yeah, and when you think about price, it's what people want, especially down here. They're worried about hurricanes, and so they want to live in a home built with materials that they can trust. So I don't know I do know there are startups, and I believe CEMEX, I believe, is working on some carbon capture during their manufacturing process and that type of thing. But I am interested to see what is going to come to the masses and what, will be affordable, that people want, that they can trust, that we can build their homes with in the future.
Low carbon concrete. I love it. Glenna, I know you're trying some new things. I think you just put some new technology in some of your homes as well.
Yeah, well, we're really focusing on, the indoor air, adding ERVs and the Brome Overture system in our homes. And we got one installed. So I'm getting it also installed in my personal home, because I think, you cannot fix human behavior. So, I'm trying to get everybody to use induction stovetops and or electric instead of gas, but this area is a strong natural gas area. So I can't control that they're actually going to turn on that range hood. So with the Overture system, it'll detect when they're cooking, it'll come on automatically. Also, when they take a shower, it'll help mitigate the humidity in the home. And then also if you have a 25, 30 people over for Thanksgiving or Easter or whatever, it's the air exchanges are going to be more often and really pull out that stale air and filter the fresh air coming in. So that's one thing that we're focusing on. And we still always look for products that have the low VOCs. And again, the insulated concrete forms, they do have concrete, and we do use fly ash in our mix. One benefit of having a son in the industry, he helps, he doesn't write it up for me, but he'll give me suggestions and I'll call it into the concrete company. So that works really good. But
and Glenna, I think the numbers I've heard, it's 20 to 30% reduction of the carbon footprint of the concrete when you add fly ash in, right?
Yes.
Incredible.
Yes. I mean, and it's just something that most people don't ask for, and it's actually makes the concrete stronger, and it flows a lot better in our wall mixes in the pump truck. So it's a win-win, and I feel it should be discounted a little bit, but they're not giving me any discount yet.
What? No discounts?
No discounts on the cubic yards. So
That's great. Well, great advice there. Danielle, what are you seeing, or what do you believe is missing from product innovation? Or it could be, what are you excited about on product innovation?
Sure.
Process.
So when I think innovation, I just go back to what I was saying earlier about the importance of education. Coming from the public health sector, a famous quote is, "An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure." And so when I think education and high performance home builders, we have to break the barrier of entry for clients. And I would say, people ask us all the time, 80%, 90% of clients that come to us to build their home are coming to us because we build beautiful homes and we're an award-winning home builder, not necessarily because we offer all of the energy efficiency options. And that makes me sad, but it also gives us a platform for buyer education. And so I think through programs like EBA, like Green Builder Media, and others who are really getting on that platform to discuss upfront capital costs versus whole home operation cost is so important. We just ran our first zero energy ready home. We closed it actually this past week, which is I'm real excited about that. But our clients are saving $65,000 over 30 years on this home compared to a code built home. So when you look at apples to apples, you just really have to know what it is and what you're looking at. What does it mean to own a healthy home? I mean, something so simple as in my graduate research, I looked at the negative health effects of the chemicals in indoor wood burning stove cooking in impoverished countries, so China, for instance. Yet we still have homeowners demanding wood burning fireplaces in their homes. And, we've lost customers because, we say we can't and we won't because of indoor air quality. I mean, it's a simple message and a simple education, just like the use of proper ventilation systems in their home, and educating people that if you have a gas cooking stove, which is great, I have one, just use your ventilation appropriately and you'll reduce your health impacts. Yeah, so just that simple education. On Instagram, we get, I think just last week, hey, how do you find cabinets that are low VOC? And simple messaging, like this is how easy it is. And really using our platform as high performance builders to educate the public, even if they're not going to be your client.
Amen.
Amen.
I always started going to this new church and they say amen, but I say amen. So I don't know if it's going to work out.
I think you're still going to heaven.
So maybe another question, how has this industry impacted you and how have you sought to impact this industry? And maybe we can turn it over to Karen.
How has it impacted me? I mean, I wouldn't even know where to begin with that. Like, if somebody asked me 10 years ago, what do you see with, where do you see yourself in 10 years? This is not what I would have said 10 years ago. It's just become such a huge part of my life. And, I love it. It's so fun and it's so exciting and it's so cool to be on the forefront of, what's coming next in this industry. When I think about how I've impacted the industry, one of my main goals, coming kind of from a marketing background, when I first started and I would sit down, Lifestyle has a really great partnership with the Florida Solar Energy Center. So I would get in a room with these building scientists, and I mean, at the time, at the very beginning, it was like they were speaking French, the way they spoke about building science. So, from a marketing background, what I've always tried to do is just boil it down for the customer. And Glenna touched on this a little bit too, as to just answer, here's why you should care. Here is what's in it for you. If you can easily communicate how a high performance home can impact somebody's quality of life, they get it and they want it. If you start talking about our values, they will politely steer the conversation back to quartz countertops, So that's, I feel like, kind of been my mission since I joined Lifestyle, was to come up with an easy way to boil down the science and just help people understand, here's what's in it for you. This is why you want this house. So
fantastic. And I love what you touched on of, there is that great feeling too, right? That you're building homes for people that they love and enjoy, and then giving back to the industry by maybe changing it to be more of a simple understanding of why you would.
Right, because like you can get into the weeds of the science if you want to, and we have a lot of engineers in our community, and that's what they want to do, and that's great, and we'll do that too. But for a lot of other people, they don't care until they care, until you can explain, here's how this is really going to impact your quality of life, your children's quality of life, and here's why you want this home, in just an easy, simple to digest way. So that's kind of always been my main goal.
Fantastic. Glenna?
For me, coming from not knowing anything about building, it really has changed, my whole life, how I look at things as far as in housing and also helping people that have special needs. And that's the area that I'm getting more into. We're building a house for a nonprofit that Ohio is high on the tech side for people with disabilities. So we are going to have the first house in Ohio that has all this new technology for different devices and sensors for people with disabilities, and they'll actually use this house as a model home in Canton here. So I'll have to give you more information on that. So for me, that's what fuels me. Again, I had a friend years ago that needed housing, and there's just not enough universal design housing, and especially with baby boomers, they're living longer. There's more people in the United States that live to 100 than ever in any time of history. We need to stay as long as possible in our houses and make them accessible and healthy and comfortable. And most people don't realize that the indoor air quality is 3 to 4 times more polluted than the outdoor air in our world. So just, that's what thrives, fuels me, learning more technology and making homes accessible. And then the other part that I'm just starting to work with our local building association is training young people to come into the trades, because it's a wonderful industry and you can make a good income, and not everybody needs $100,000 debt of college debt. You can get into the trades for a low cost to going to a trade school and then doing internships. And we've done 3 internships now, and I love it. And the students always keep in touch with me, and one just got married last year, and it's just neat. I love that. I want to give back, and especially women, give back to women and train women in the industry.
Fantastic. Danielle?
I love that, Glenna. So for me, the impact, when we started our company, we stopped having babies.
Oh.
I mean, we joke all the time that having your own company is like having a newborn that never stops being a newborn. Or I'm doing something wrong, one or the other. But I mean, honestly, though, besides raising children, having this company and the impact this company has, I mean, it's been more impactful than anything else than our life, in our life, because it is so challenging. And like when you work out and you break down the muscle and you build it back up, like you build back stronger. The challenges in particular that I think about and how they've impacted me, have impacted me, are kind of when you're up on that stage, you're expected to know it all. And that's far from the case. I love what Glenna said about being part of the EBA community, like being surrounded by like-minded people who just want to help you be successful. And just, knowing and being vulnerable enough to say, I don't know, and I need to bring in the experts, has been huge for both Jesse and I. And then to learn from them, right? And learn once, hopefully. I love what G. Myers says. He's like, I don't want to pay the dumb tax. But as business owners and doing this like for the first time, I mean, sometimes we have to pay the dumb tax and be okay with it and learn from it and move on. But then also, I love what you said, Glenna, too, about being firm. Like sometimes you do know what you're talking about.
Yes.
And that's great. And stand firm in your beliefs and stand up for your company and your people. And your trade when you need to. I don't like the term thick skin, so I like the term firm. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's good. Yeah, as and then individually, how I feel like we've given back. I mean, I just love the opportunity. So Jesse does most of day-to-day business operations, which leaves me to do some of the kind of behind the scenes stuff, and being able to have the time to be involved with EBA and Housing 2.0, and Green Builder Media is hosting ESG benchmarking group, BS and Beer, the big event, like I said. I mean, it's just, we have talents, and we're obviously using them to have a company and to build a company and to provide a safe working environment for our people. But it's also great to be able to be in a place to give back. Yeah.
Amen. Nancy, how about you? How has the industry impacted you, and I know Nancy and I are always, we're learning new stuff from all of you, and we're doing it to our own houses, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I
That's
would
like
just say
background.
that you all, the three of you, are very inspiring. When I first started at EBA, I had no experience in the building industry. I came from the legal profession, and I knew nothing. And when I started 18 years ago, there were very few women in the industry. And so it's been great to see over the last few years how that's grown. I think it's really impressive and inspiring. So I would just say I knew nothing when I started, but I sat through so many trainings over the years. We used to do 25 or 30 of those every year, and I know enough to be dangerous now, because I don't really know. I don't have all the technical expertise, but I've learned a lot, and I've tried to, as Erin referred to, trying to put that education into my home. But just great to listen to all of you and hear your stories and what motivates you every day.
Well, let's wrap it up with what is your advice for women seeking to enter the construction industry? And maybe Nancy, started off with you, and then we'll go around the horn.
I would just say, I think there are so many opportunities, especially now, and there's just so many jobs and so many different fields and technologies. And I just think it's such a great industry to be in. And like you've all referred to, this community is fantastic. I mean, all the folks that are involved with EBA, builders, manufacturers, everybody, the whole, encompasses the whole community. When I talk about, it's just a great place to be. And like I said, just the opportunities, I think, are limitless for women in the industry.
Fantastic. Karen?
Yeah, I think I just kind of echo what Nancy just said. I mean, the industry is growing and changing so much that there are just so many opportunities out there. Even if, that just go beyond, basic home building, the world that the three of us, Danielle, Glenna, and I live in every day. But, if you're going into home building as a woman, I would encourage you to do it, because, when I was first approached, I didn't think there was a seat at the table for me. I didn't know what I could bring to the table, and quickly found that I brought a lot. It was a different voice. It is a male dominated industry. I don't think there's any way around that. But it's I feel like I brought a different voice and a different perspective. I feel like I brought a different management style to the women who have worked at Lifestyle, and the new hires, and I have young kids, we have a lot of, young moms and stuff, that I think that, maybe I bring a level of empathy on the management team as far as that goes, with the culture of the company. But just for women in general entering the construction industry or thinking about it, I would say go for it, because there is a seat at the table for you, even if it's, if it is intimidating to you of being a male dominated industry, that, you will have a voice and you will have a place there.
Fantastic advice. And I, thinking about that, I love what Glenna has always told me, that this industry, I don't think, especially if you were a builder, you earn what you're worth, right?
Right.
No one can tell you any different. You get to earn, you can earn as much as you want. So Glenna, what's your advice for women?
Well, I would just say you can do it, to every woman out there thinking about maybe trying it or doing it, but you can do it. And there's just so many more mentorships, and like I said, EBA, get involved with EBA. But again, the sky's the limit as far as income, and I just think that women do have more attention to detail. And I think the industry, the expectations that we talked about that with consumers, especially post-COVID, I mean, they're very attention to detail, and I think that's good. But yeah, there's so many opportunities out there for women to be their own trade partner, electrician, plumber, whatever, and to make really good income. So
Yeah, there's so many spots to enter too, right? It could be
yes,
it could be building, or it could be electrical or solar or HVAC, or there's just, and we're in such need of great people in the industry that I think it's open to everyone today, really. Danielle, take us home.
Oh, well, mine is just super practical advice. So y'all heard me say I worked for 9 years in the oil and gas industry before I joined construction. So offshore oil and gas, you can imagine how many women were offshore on a day-to-day basis. Not too many. Also not too many women sitting around the boardroom table either. The one thing that I did at BP that I was super proud of was my first 3 years. And I know that sounds like a long time, but my first 3 years really focusing on the job training, like boots on deck. There's nothing better. And we all say we came into the industry without any knowledge or experience, but I guarantee you we've all spent plenty of quality time on job sites. And I feel like for women coming into the industry, and this isn't just to women, to be honest with you, it's anybody, getting that on the job, that boots on deck experience, there's nothing better. That's the commonality, I think, between all of our successful hires has been that drive, that tenacity to learn more, to do more. You can't just reward knowledge. You have to reward that passion and that motivation to just continuously improve, no matter how many years of experience you have, to be honest. But just being in the field, seeing what currently exists, what's currently being done, it's just those dynamics of those day-to-day operations, the dynamics of the communication, and then just the technical aspects of high performance home building for us in particular. There's no better place to do that than really just getting out in the field and spending time and asking the dumb questions and not being afraid to ask the dumb questions.
Yeah. Well, I love what you said about, I mean, we should all remember to be humble, and maybe it's that sometimes guys aren't as much because we think, oh, my grandpa did it this way, you know, I'm going to do it. But I think just having that humility, that humbleness, and that willingness to learn is probably what sets you apart, not only as women builders, but as some of the top builders in the United States. So I want to thank you all so much for sharing your time with us and our audience. And I look forward to seeing you all again shortly later this week.
yes.
So
Thanks, Aaron and Nancy.
Thank you, Aaron.
thanks so much.
Thank you all.
Mhm.